TV. Viewer discretion is advised.
What up, Heel Faction? Welcome back to Heel Shit. Why do we call it that? Because bad guys do heel shit. I'm Dark Cordz, that's Draven Grimes. This is Talkin Shit, and today we've got a special guest in the house. You know him from moderating some of the funnest debates online. I'd like to welcome Wick TV to the show. How you doing, man?
Hey man, I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for reaching out. I'm curious to see how this is going to go.
Outstanding. Well, we will get into politics right when we get back.
Cool. Living fast, we ain't slowing down. Always ready to turn heads around. Heel Shit Podcast, where the bad boys reign. Never following the norm, always causing pain.
All right. So, Wick, I've been communicating with you on Twitter for a while. It's nice to finally verbally meet you. How have you been doing, my friend?
So far so good, right? I just got back from a vacation. Actually, I went down to Florida, where my parents are from. I touched a lot of grass, did a lot of swimming, some outside stuff. Got away from all the discourse, quote unquote, as much as I could. Like I genuinely enjoy talking politics. I enjoy talking cultural issues and things like that. So I did dabble a little, but it's different to do as a hobby versus as something you get paid for. So that was nice. So I'm doing good. I'm refreshed. You got me. You got fresh Wick, okay? Unburdened by what has been, and I'm ready to go forward and get what we need done. So
all right, we're going to be talking about what has been in the world of politics for a couple of minutes. So I haven't really had any chatting with you of substance since the Trump assassination attempt. So I guess I want to start there. What was your reaction when you initially heard the news? And then we'll get into kind of how opinions have changed, since it happened.
I mean, anytime I hear of an assassination attempt on an elected official or someone who's running for candidacy or any kind of violence being actually perpetrated against them, it's shock. I understand that it does happen, unfortunately. Luckily, in America, at least, it's rare. But I was genuinely, when I first read the news, shock was the first emotion I felt. Like, oh God, what happened? And I immediately went in to kind of look to see what had occurred. There was a lot of noise at first, but generally, within a couple hours, it had narrowed down to we knew pretty much what had happened, what went down. I think that for me, it was pretty clearly unacceptable. There's no reason that it should have taken place. No one, under any circumstances, regardless of political leanings, should have shots taken at them or be threatened with violence or have violence perpetrated against them. Also interesting was the reaction from the online world and seeing everyone's initial thoughts kind of writ large and play out on Twitter live as we go. I felt that was genuinely kind of disturbing. I understand why people and I don't like Trump, to be clear. I'm not a MAGA guy. I'm voting against him. I voted against him in 2020. I'm voting against him again. I don't like him. I think that politics are worse because of him. But I don't understand why people think it's okay to joke or wish for him to have been physically killed or injured in such a case, just from both a moral level and a pragmatic level. These are both just anathema to me. Very something that's just against the core of who I am. But that's my thoughts. What are some of yours?
I'm kind of cynical. I think before any news came out, I think I had messaged you that, it looked like it was staged to me. That's
fake.
I mean I obviously that was a hot take and that wasn't something serious. So, I had to kind of digest it because I heard about it on social media, where you hear everything, so I'm hearing, I'm seeing JD Vance immediately say, Biden ordered it. Like before the dude's body was cold, Vance had posted Biden ordered it. And just the disgusting discourse. And then obviously, we're familiar with what Destiny started talking about. And I'm a fan of Destiny. I would love to have him on a show sometime. That was a little, even for me, it was a little too far. But then when I kind of went back and digested it, it was it wasn't as bad as it's still perpetrated to be, I guess. But I'm still puzzled by a few things. I'm puzzled by not only the Secret Service blunder. Obviously, it had to have been just a complete blunder. I don't think the rhetoric on the right about the Secret Service purposely missing it. I think it was horrible that they dropped the ball there. I'm glad that the director resigned, but I don't know. It was kind of surreal, and then it immediately, for me, my bit of sympathy that of course I sympathize with the gentleman who was actually struck and murdered.
Yeah, he got killed. Yeah,
absolutely. But the little bit of sympathy I had for Donald Trump quickly went away when it immediately turned combative. And I guess looking back on it, has your opinion of not only why it happened, from whom it happened, and the rhetoric since then, has it changed your opinion on anything? Have you developed, a stronger opinion one way or the other?
I understand what you're asking. I believe. I think that at the end of the day, the rhetoric around it was always going to be terrible to a certain extent, from the extremes, from the fringes, from the edges. That's just how social media works. It amplifies the worst voices. There's always going to be crazy conspiracy theories, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That doesn't shock or surprise me or make me feel any sort of way, other than just kind of like, okay, that's just how it is. But for me, I still don't know why this young man decided to take the shot, right? There's so little we know, right? We have a lot of information, but not a lot of knowledge, if that makes sense. We know he was registered Republican. We know he donated to Act Blue. We know that he would argue with people in his colleges and school settings and things like that. He was a weird dude from all accounts.
Sure.
So anyone saying for certain they know why this guy did it, I don't believe them. There's just not enough to go on. Maybe he just wanted to be famous. I don't know. Maybe he was a groiper and was mad that Trump had just announced Project 2025. I don't know. Maybe he was a crazy lefty who believed the hype from Vosh and other streams. I don't know. And that's the key here, right? I don't know. As for has I changed my opinion? No. On when it comes to rhetoric around it, my sympathy for someone, right, in such an event does not change based on how they react to being shot at that much. I mean, it can a little, but for the most part, I think that someone who has just been violently attacked gets a minimum amount of sympathy from me, right? An unprovoked violent attack, to be clear, right? So I'm not talking about someone who's like throwing hands and then they get hands thrown back at them, right? That's different. But if you're getting shot at unprovoked, then I think you deserve a little sympathy. And I give you some grace for acting a little weird about it. If someone takes shots at me, I'm going to act a little weird about it. I may take a few shots myself rhetorically. You know what I mean? So I get that. I also, I still, when it comes to Destiny specifically, I'm still disappointed in his take there. I stand by that. I think his take was wrong, and I still do. But I like the guy in general, but I
Sure.
think that he was just in this whole tit for tat that he's talked about and other people have talked about. Like, well, they did it, we can do it too. That doesn't solve the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it helps anything. I don't think it makes anything better. But that's my take. What do you guys think?
So, I guess going back to the would-be assassin,
Hmm.
apparently some information has come out since then that not only did he, highlight this particular rally in his calendar, but also the Democratic National Convention. It seemed to me, from how weird some of his internet searches were, how his classmates kind of described him, it felt to me like he was just done with the leadership of this country, and Trump was the closest and first public event, and if who knows what would have happened, if he had gone to the DNC. Obviously the security to get into a building would be a little bit different, but I don't know. I definitely don't think it helped anything, and so much has happened since that shooting that's almost kind of completely diminished. Even people even thinking about it. Obviously, with the candidate switch.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, one thing I was definitely wrong on is I thought that this would be a pivotal issue going forward in the election. I thought we were still going to be talking about it. I thought it was going to dominate for a lot longer than it did. I was wrong on that. No one's talking about it anymore. We just, for whatever reason, have decided it doesn't matter, and we shrugged and we moved on.
Yeah, I found that kind of funny myself. Let's see. I mean, I guess we can move past this. And as we progress along in the politics timeline, obviously the next biggest thing that happened was the candidate switch.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of a callback to you saying that you felt that the shooting was a pivotal point. When I saw that, I didn't feel as though anybody who was already not voting for Trump would have voted for him simply because of the assassination attempt. I don't think that was too much of a tide swinger one way or the other. But obviously, Biden dropping out and Harris being the presumed nominee really has shaken not only politics, but especially with unifying the Democratic Party. I mean, I'm 44 years old. Mm-hmm. They haven't been this unified since I've been paying attention to politics at all. So what are your thoughts on, because when I first heard that Biden was dropping out, I immediately thought it was over. I immediately thought the Democrats had fucked up and it was going to be, a Trump win. You lose the incumbent advantage. You lose the winning of the primary advantage. You lose so many things by him dropping out. But
name recognition, there's a few things, right? The fact that he'd beat Trump before, so we have a record here. So I still don't know if it was the right call. I know everyone's very happy that the polls seem to be doing better. Couple questions on that would be: is it going to be something that sustains itself? And what happens in November, right? Like, I understand that. Okay, let me put it this way: the fact that we're making decisions based on July polling is wild to me. It's wild to me that we are using information this early in the day to make any decisions on these things. Like, traditionally, polling has been wild and wonky with wild gaps and swings up until late October, that kind of time. frame when it really kind of narrows down from the horse race
Mhm.
to be kind of more of an accurate reflection of things. And a lot can happen that can sway voters' opinions in October. Like, they call it the October surprise, right? Something comes out and it has the potential to really impact the race. So I think that the early exuberance for Harris is understandable.
Mhm.
I know it's a vibes-based thing, and I know polling seems to be showing that it is trending in her direction, but I do worry about the sustainability of that, and I also worry about the precedent that this sets. Because what we've basically done is we jumped off a cliff. We seem to have stuck the landing,
Mhm.
and now you have a bunch of people saying, see, it's totally okay that we jumped off that cliff because nothing bad happened, which is a really bad way to make decisions going forward. It's a really bad way to look at the results of something. It's results-based thinking, and it doesn't work for me. I like procedural-based thinking,
Mhm.
right? Where we can look at a procedure and see what is most likely to give us, over the most amount of times, a consistently good outcome. But when you take one-off events, which is pretty unprecedented, to be clear, of a candidate dropping out in July, a presidential candidate dropping out in July, and then having everything just go pitch perfect so far in the 2 to 3 weeks it's been.
Sure.
That is such a statistically unlikely series of events that I think we just need to count our lucky stars that it's gone that way, because there was so much potential for it to go so much worse. We're still not out of the woods. It
Absolutely.
could still go bad. We're talking about a more unified party. I don't know if I would say that. I still think that there are major divides, and you can see these in the VP stakes, right? The VP sweepstakes going on right now between
Mhm.
Kelly, Shapiro, Waltz, Whitmer, Bashir. There's several names that are being thrown out. I think it's down right now to Waltz and Shapiro. But even then, there's all the usual candidates saying, I won't vote for the blue ticket if it's this person who's the running mate.
Mhm.
You had Mike from PA come out with, I will stop supporting the ticket if Shapiro is a running mate. And this is the same person, like, I'm not going to support Biden because Biden's a bad guy, right? Like, it just, at a certain point, why are we listening to these people? Because they want things to be just so, or they won't vote at all. They're their fair weather friends. We shouldn't be taking them into account. That's my thoughts.
No, understood. Understood. I believe that. My opinion on polling is, to me, you're really only getting the opinion of people who are angry enough or people who are bored enough to sit down and take a poll. I don't know about you, and I don't know about any of the viewers, whatever, but I have never once, I've been an attorney for 17 years. I have never once kept on the phone when I found out it was a poll. And back when you used to go to the mall, I never once stopped and filled out a poll or a survey. Like, I don't know.
Maybe I'm weird. I would love to answer pollsters' questions, right? Like, you ask me my opinion on something. Well, that's why I'm a streamer, right? If you ask me my opinion on something, boy, have I got opinions for you. They may not be founded, they may not be smart opinions, but oh my God, do I have opinions? And let me tell you, I'll let you know about them. So
When's the last time you answered a political phone call?
I don't think I've ever had, except for people asking me for money. I don't think anyone's ever called me and been like, "Hey, Wick, what do you think of is the most important issue to you in this election?" I've never had that happen in my 40 years of life.
Wow. I guess maybe I'm just one of the lucky few. I don't know.
The demographics, man.
I guess so. Just to get off politics for a minute, you had a little vacation down here in Florida. Was that a good time?
I enjoyed it. I just didn't do much in terms of entertainment, but the fact that I was able to just stay with my family, read some books, not be so online, swim, get out in the sun a little bit. It's nice. I think we underestimate the value of just taking the phone, putting it down for a day, just not touching it. I wish more people would do that. We'd live in better lives if we just did that. That one simple thing.
Right.
Not right now, gang, since you're all watching us, right? You continue to watch a podcast, continue to watch the show. But once that's done, put the phones down. Go out and talk to people. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, my wife is similar age as me, and I guess it's an old meme at this point, but sometimes you really do wonder how we left the house with no tether. Like, you don't know if they're coming back or not. Really, you don't know what's happened to them.
Trying to find places without GPS,
Oh
right?
my God.
Directions, having to write them down on a napkin or something. Crazy.
Yeah.
MapQuest.
Yeah, MapQuest was a beautiful thing when that came out.
Stuff, yeah. No,
Yes.
that was a godsend. But like even before that, I remember driving around in New Jersey, where I was at the time. I didn't have internet at the time, and I would just follow the signs and sometimes stop at a gas station and have to ask for specific directions.
Yep, 100%.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Like I have two daughters, and one just turned 16, and the other one's just turned 15. So they're just turned 14. So they're both gonna be driving soon, and it hits me again. Like, how did my mom let me jump in a car with no way of knowing whether if I'm dead on the side of the road, and just trusted that shit was gonna turn out right? Like, I don't get it. But glad she did.
I don't know. I've rode with you a couple times. She could have taught you better. Like what a damn brake is.
Hey man.
Brakes are for people without conviction, okay?
You-
All gas, no brakes. Make a decision, you stick to it, okay?
You buy
the
a
worst
fast
is you
car.
going-
What the hell am I supposed to do
Yeah.
with it?
This is
Keep it under
frustrates me.
120. Keep it under 120. That's what I need you to do, especially at 1:00 in the morning on the way back from Alabama.
All right, man. All right.
Oh,
I'll take that into
okay.
consideration.
No, I'm talking about the people who look. I've ridden with people, and this frustrates me. It's a pet peeve. You're going to the light. You're just driving. You see it change yellow. Make a decision right then whether you keep going or you stop. Don't try to second guess it with a stop, start.
Yeah.
Make a
Yes.
choice. That's all I'm asking.
Pull the fucking trigger, man. You're killing all of us back here.
I frustrates me a lot.
Yes. So do you have kids? Anything?
No kids. I don't talk about my family stuff, right? For same reasons I don't give out my name, things like that. I just keep it to my opinions rather than my life. I will say though, growing up, I did have a family. I was born and raised religious, right? And so they kept tabs on me even without a phone. But what that looked like back in the day was a curfew. I had to be home at a certain time or there would be consequences, right? And as I grew up, at first back in the day, I thought, oh, this is fascism, right? It's fascism. They're authoritarianly keeping me in the house. But as I understand it today, as a grown-ass adult, especially in a world where I didn't have a cell phone growing up, they wanted me to be at a certain home at a certain time, so they knew where I was and that I was safe, and they didn't have to worry or panic that I might be hurt.
Yep.
Now, today with a cell phone, it's a little easier, and people can check in much easier. They can have these programs that even track your location, as I understand it, right?
Yeah.
So they can just know where you are, which has some privacy issues, but I understand it, right? Yeah. So back in the day, there were just ways we did it that would feel weird and alien to those growing up today. But back then, there's good reasons that we performed the way that we did and we acted the way that we did. And I think that curfews back in the day made a lot of sense. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yep. Hey, thank you, Daisy. I didn't even notice. Sorry, we're mid conversation here. No disrespect intended. Yeah, I noticed a chat that says just "fuck you, bro." Like, guess I missed
Which bro? Like there's 3 of us. But yeah.
No,
Right.
no,
Probably the quiet one.
probably quite well.
I'll take all the fuck yous tonight. I'll take them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pile the fucks on Driven. All right, so, but yeah, no, it's a whole new world with kids. Like I like you, I was like, really, I got to be home at this time. My buddy gets to stay out until this time. They're like, well, I ain't your buddy's mama.
Pretty much.
All right. So, all right. So, what have you had any? Have you moderated any debates recently that you've particularly enjoyed?
All my shows are great, and I love them all equal. Now, I thought today's show was actually pretty good. We talked a little bit about the Olympic controversy with the Olympic women's boxer, and I still can't pronounce her name right, Aman Khalif,
Mm-hmm.
and all the rip roaring for that. That was interesting. As a moderator, one of the biggest issues that I have for setting up a show is, will my guests actually show up? Right? That is a thing that unfortunately I've been stood up a few times.
Yeah.
And especially with people who I have that are newer, that I don't really have a lot of record of showing up on time, it can be a little frustrating and nerve-wracking. We had one guy not show up today. Luckily I had a replacement, but yeah, that's for me one of the biggest problems of doing these shows is, regardless of the topic, there will be times when I just have to replace a guest last minute, and it's just frustrating.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of multi-guest shows. It's generally just the 2 of us, but I think we've gotten to the point where we tag team off each other so much that if someone doesn't show up, it's probably a better show anyway.
Well, you guys have built-in co-hosts, right? Your brothers, so it works out. I don't got any of that. I'm solo doloing it out here, right?
Yeah. Actually, we're not brothers.
Oh, I thought.
No,
we get it
that
all the time.
All the time. Yeah,
My bad.
No, we're good. We're actually we look relatively similar. We're both giant bald guys. But we met in because we're both professional wrestlers, and we formed a tag team.
Oh, like spiritual brothers, because you had mentioned driving with him when you were younger and things like that, so I made all sorts of assumptions, but carry on.
Yeah, no. But yeah, so that's kind of what it's about. But yeah, no, I don't envy you, because I know you've had what's the most members in a show that you've had? How many guests?
What, in an official show or after hours
An
call
official
in?
show.
An official show, the most I've had are 8.
Okay.
Not
So-
including me.
So
I used to do that as the standard,
Mhm.
but I quickly changed that to 6 as my standard, and
You
now I
feel
do
it flows
4 to
better.
4 to 6 is kind of my sweet spot here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. We can barely handle 4.
Man, 8 is the reason I did 8 at first was because I wanted to give everyone a chance who wanted, as many people as possible. The benefits to that were networking. I got to network with more people. I got more eyes on me because their audiences would also watch. But there are some obvious cons to that format as well. The chaos of it, the fact that it would make there would be people who just wouldn't get to say almost anything. The quieter people would be looked over. All these things. It was a problem. It was hard sometimes for the audience to understand who was talking and what was going on. It was just a lot. I found out that it wasn't as enjoyable for the people who would regularly watch me as smaller formats were. So that's why I changed it.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking at
Take your
all
time.
the stats here.
I'm just a river. I'm going with the flows. You guys is rodeo. Just
He's
trying to
like
hang on.
water.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm running the production and all the socials and everything right here. Sometimes I get a little twisted up. So, something that turned out to be just as funny as I was expecting it to be. Trump's appearance at the National Association of Black Journalists.
I saw it.
Whoever booked this for him should be terminated immediately.
You think so? You want a hot take?
Please.
I don't think it was as bad as for him as a lot of people are saying. For Democrats, obviously, for people who don't like Trump, we laughed at him because he's a laughable figure. We thought it was silly. But for people who are still undecided or Trump voters, I don't think it was that bad. I know that's a hot take because I don't think he lost anything from that appearance, and he did shore up some credentials. Now, that said, there are some specific answers he gave during that I think were wild, that I think is going to hurt him if we can capitalize them. One of the things that he said, I believe it was at this conference, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. One of he was asked about J.D. Vance as a running mate, and he was asked with the memes around him and his historically low approval rating, what are your thoughts, right? Do you regret picking J.D. Vance? I think the specific question is J.D. Vance ready for the job? I believe that was the specific question. His answer was, well, the vice presidential pick doesn't really matter usually in a presidential race. So
yeah,
that was just to me, an insane answer for several reasons. One, it's the first decision or one of the earliest decisions a presidential candidate can make to signal how they are going to govern, and it has constitutionally mandated what's the word? Consequences. That's it. Yeah, it's constitutionally mandated consequences for what happens because of your vice presidential pick. They can break ties in the Senate, and should you be unable to govern, they are next in line to govern. It's immensely consequential in terms of governing. In terms of the race, while yes, there are examples of presidential candidates who have no effect on the race, there are examples of vice presidential candidates that have, arguably at least, tanked their Sarah Palin, I think, is probably the biggest example of that.
Yeah.
The most clear-cut example that we can find, recent, I should say, that just did not do well for them at all. But yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know. Sorry. I don't know if it's necessarily going to hurt him with his current voters.
Yeah.
I think it opened the eyes of some people who, weren't quite, saying, if character wasn't as big of a deal in this race, I think that shined a new light on a character flaw. And I think he went there and just gave Kamala so much ammunition, so much advertising ammunitions. I just think it might not have been a bad look for him losing voters that are already committed to voting for him, but I think it does damage beyond that.
The problem with Trump is we say this, and I remember 2016, everyone in 2015 leading up to it, everyone was sure, oh, this amount of bullshit that he just said, this is it. This is what's going to get him, okay? This is what's going to make him unelectable. This is what's going to make everyone turn against him. This is what's going to turn off the undecided independent voters, right? When he mocked the disabled reporter when he called when he alluded to the Mexican illegal immigrants being a rapist, right? When he was what did he say about John McCain? I like people who weren't captured,
Yeah.
or things like that. I forget the exact
He was
wording.
only a war hero because he was captured. I
Yeah,
like people who
something.
aren't captured.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff he said that everyone thinks this is what's going to give us the ammunition we need. Here's the thing about Trump, and this is really unique to him in a lot of ways. He has Teflon Don, is what they call him.
Yeah.
He's the criticism against him feeds into the narrative that he's tried to build, that the deep state is out to get him, that the institutions of failed America have targeted him and are out to make sure that he never becomes president or never becomes president again. And they are the enemy. The media is the enemy. And the media being the enemy isn't new to Trump, to be clear. This has been a Republican talking point since Reagan, for example. But when it comes to the modern political era, I think that I don't think it's going to, and I'll just say this, I don't think what he says matters at all. That's not what anyone's going to judge him on. Like, I don't know why he won't debate Kamala in September, right? I know that he's doing wishy-washy back and forth whether he'll go on out, because again, he lost every debate to Clinton. Every single debate he had with Hillary Clinton, he lost pretty clearly. It did not matter.
Right.
What he says does not matter. It's the image that he's trying to convey. And two things: the fact that he appoints judges that are straight from the Heritage Foundation's most wanted list, that are going to do things like overturn Roe v. Wade. Evangelicals and other kind of very conservative voters love that, and they will excuse a lot to get that. And the second is, again, he's built up a narrative where any attack against him just feeds into what he's been saying to his core constituency of people who are in his core constituency, to be frank, are people who feel that the American system is broken fundamentally, that they no longer have a voice, no longer have a say. And like Michael Moore said in 2016, he is a firebomb that is being thrown into the electorate, thrown into the system, because they want him to break it. They want him to blow it up. They don't. They feel failed and they want it gone. And so again, I don't think what he says fucking matters.
I actually think it does matter, but not how people would hope it matters. I think it matters because people who are going to vote for Trump, I think they revel in it. They love it. It's a feature that they like about him. His unprofessionalism, his rhetoric, everything. They, for some reason, it's like pigs in slop, man. They just eat that shit up. And I don't know. I think to me personally, it's kind of sad that, one, we've gotten to the point where so many people feel disenfranchised enough to just blindly follow this guy. But it's also sad that we still have so many people in this country that think like Donald Trump.
It's one of those things where, like, the system for a lot of people has failed. It's not a talking point; it just has. There are a lot of people, especially in rural America, who do feel like that they're being talked over, who they feel like they're being misled, they lied to, frankly, and they just are sick of it. Now, again, I think that they're being taken advantage of. I think that above all, Trump is a con man, who is basically swindling them and claiming he cares about them, and he does not. But their pain is real, and we have to acknowledge it, and we have to address it. So,
yeah. I don't know. What do you feel about the the strategy that has been employed by the Trump campaign against Kamala up to this point. It seems like a lot of race baiting. It sounds like a lot of non-substantive arguments, non-substantive critiques.
My first question would be, what strategy? It doesn't seem like they have one. I don't think that they were expecting this outcome. I don't think they were prepped for it or prepared for it at all. And I think they're throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. I don't think anything has stuck yet. We're early. It's early August. Please don't expect that to be the case for the rest of the campaign. I would be delighted if it was.
Sure.
But I'm going to assume at least some level of competence on their part, and they'll get their act together and find a through line that sticks. I do think that to the race baiting and all that, I think that is unfortunately a portion of the electorate. We saw this on the left when it came to Israeli and Jewish individuals, and we're seeing that also with Israeli and Jewish individuals on the right, but also with Black individuals and other such things, DEI hires, etc. Right? Like, I think that's just a unfortunate facet of culture.
Draven, turn your mic down. I'm getting some feedback. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Well, I don't want to take a whole ton of your time up. I just kind of want to get your opinion on a few of these things. And what do you got going on for the rest of the night?
Man, after this, I'll probably just watch some TV. I saw the House of the Dragons season finale. I wasn't impressed. I don't know if you guys watched that.
I loved Game of Thrones. I haven't really started watching House of the Dragons. But I didn't watch Game of Thrones until the 8th season of Game of Thrones. So,
what a time to get into it! I read the books, the Game of Thrones, the books when they came out. I've been a fan for a while. I did watch the series, not from season 1, but I watched it after a couple seasons. I was staying away from it at first because I didn't want it to taint my impressions of the book, but I kept hearing good things about it, so I was like, yeah, I'll see what the I'll see how this story translates into the serial medium. It was fine. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it was a good story. But yeah, the last couple seasons were let's not talk about them. House of the Dragons, I think the first season was very good. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a hit for me, top to bottom. The second season was kind of slow. It feels transitional, like it's basically trying to connect to. It feels like filler. It feels like they're putting in some background work to get to the actual events that they'd like to show, but that's not going to come till season 3. I was overall disappointed with the season finale of second season of House of Dragons, but here we are. So,
well, when I say I didn't start watching it until season 8, I didn't like jump in at season 8. Like I heard it was coming to an end, and I think me and my wife watched all 7.5 episodes up to that point in like a week. Like we just
binging it. Yeah. Look, I love one of the things that I love about the new. There's a lot to hate about how we do media nowadays. A lot of remakes, a lot of people that just the stories just aren't as good. They're not as original. However, one of the things from streaming services that has been a godsend is releasing the whole season at once.
God, yes.
I don't want to. Let me watch it on my time. I don't want to have to wait. If a story's good, I want to keep going, right?
Yeah, especially the problem with me is if I like find something I've fallen in love with. Like there was a wrestling show on Netflix called Glow. And it was a fictionalized representation of a glamour-based women's wrestling promotion.
Okay.
Back in the early 80s. And I put it off. Finally watched the first season. I watched the first season right up until the second season dropped. and then I blew through the second season like quickly, and then I was so pissed off there was nothing else for another year. Like that's the good and the bad of dropping it all at once. Is that
discipline, my friend, discipline. Okay,
Yeah.
if you need to make it last, don't just shove the whole pizza into your face at once. Take it slice by slice, buddy. But for those of us who don't mind, right, shoving a whole pizza into one's face. Okay.
I love it, but it's a blessing and a curse to me because like we watched the Chicago dramas, Chicago Med, stuff like that, and yeah, it sucks that you can't immediately go into the next episode, but you've got 24 weeks of episodes before you have to have that 3, 4, 5 months off. It sucks when you have to wait a whole year for your favorite show to come back on.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a fan of yours in our chat who's also a fan of professional wrestling. So welcome. His name is No Pants Kyle. So thank you for getting us a new wrestling podcast fan. Appreciate that very much. So yeah, no, we appreciate you joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We've got a few more minutes left on the show, but I've kind of run out of the prepared topics to discuss with you. So we'll let you go. But I really appreciate it. I hope we can have you back. I hope you felt it was worth your time to do.
I'm always happy to come on other people's shows. You guys were generous. I thought that was an interesting conversation. And if you're watching this, gang, and you're thinking about subscribing to these guys, you should definitely do it. You should follow their podcast, all that. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, we greatly appreciate it. You can find us pretty much every social media at Heel Shit Podcast. You can all of our streaming services is Heel Shit Podcast except Twitch, and that's Heel Shit Pod. Search our audio podcast up on any of your major podcast outlets. Just search Heel Shit Podcast. We've got 120 episodes up. We've been doing the audio podcast about a year and a half, and just having a good time doing it.
Cool.
Hoping to have more guests as we move forward. Doing nothing but politics on this Monday night show until the election. So, by all means, anytime you want to hop on, if there's a major, race shattering event, love to have you back on and discuss it.
But, who knows? There might be with how we're going, right? Assassination attempt, candidate dropout. What's coming next? Alien invasion? I don't know. We'll find out.
All right. Well, I appreciate it very much. Guys, if you're just our fans and you're interested in... This wasn't really a debate. It was more of a conversation. But he's got some fiery debates on his channel. So go check him out. It's Wick TV on all of the outlets. And thank you very much, man. Hope to have you back soon.
No problem. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Well, that was nice. It was good to have him on. I've been watching his... obviously, I'm much more politics than you.
Yes. Hey, sometimes it's good just to sit back and just listen to the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Yeah. So, we kind of had a weather event come through here today. It's still going on? Yeah, we got that fucking hurricane.
I don't know if you looked at the radar, but the eye of the storm is literally like 15 miles from my location. So as it's fucking circling it back around, guess who's about to get another dick in the ass of weather?
So
boy.
So the eye is just now passing you?
Yeah, it's like 15 miles west of me.
Jesus Christ. See, the crazy part is our day was pretty much shot today. And then my job is based in Charleston, South Carolina. So they've already closed the place until Thursday because this shit's about to just go over there and hang out just off the coast of Charleston for a few days and fuck the whole city up. And Charleston is either at or it's the only other city below sea level than Louisiana, whatever the port is in Louisiana. Fuck it. So yeah, it floods crazy.
I got you. But yeah, I don't know how wet your yard is, but dude, about another inch of rain and I can legally fish off my back patio.
That's a lot.
So,
That's
yeah,
a lot.
yes, like legitimately, I had to park mine and my wife's cars up on the sidewalk just so our fucking motors would not get any sort of water damage.
Oh, our homie in the chat, No Pants Kyle, feels what we're talking about, the flooding. He's in New Orleans, so yeah. Yeah, y'all know more than you should about hurricanes and flooding. Oh,
yeah.
Damn, man.
Hopefully the season will pass you guys by.
Hopefully.
But yeah, this storm has really fucked my week plans up. I was supposed to start the fucking gym back up this week. Supposed to get all my grocery shopping done to start the carnivore diet again. Yeah, that's all gone to hell. And I don't even know if I'm working tomorrow. That's the bad part. I'll find out at fucking 5:30 tomorrow.
Damn.
Yeah. Because if I hear, oh, we'll let you know in the morning one more fucking time after tomorrow, I'm going to lose my shit.
Just going stir crazy, huh?
I've spent a total of 5 minutes outside today. I can't do this. Like, even on fucking weekends, like, I can't fucking stay home anymore. Home is for me to play an hour of video games, cook a dinner, and go to sleep. And occasionally do a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this weather can suck my dick all the way to the balls.
All the way. Man. Ooh.
You seem miserable. I thought I was miserable.
Nah. Oh, shit.
What?
I'm gonna be miserable. Supposed to order food at 8:15, so we got here on time. And
damn, people are still door dashing and shit.
Yeah, it's not McClenny, motherfucker.
God damn y'all. Dude, everything but the gas station in front of my house and the Waffle House is closed.
Jesus Christ.
Which, I mean, that's kind of how Florida works. If the Waffle House is open, you should be fine.
100%.
If it closes, yeah, you're fucked.
100%. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how everything does tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we have weekend wrestling.
Yes, we do. We're bringing back weekend wrestling as a normal feature on the channel. We had kind of gone away from it, but I think
we did some experimenting.
We did some experimenting, but you know, shit happens. We'll live, we learn, whatever.
Yep. Get ready for that. We'll be reviewing the SummerSlam card, as well as previewing and giving our thoughts and suggestions on All In.
Yes.
Which is this weekend?
All In is this weekend.
It is this weekend. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Damn, where is time fucking gone, man?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it seems like just the other day we were winning another tag title in fucking Georgia, and fuck.
Yeah. It's the other day.
Yeah. But fuck, we only got 5 minutes left. We'll do the whole spiel. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, tomorrow night, weekend wrestling with your boys, Dark Cordz, Draven Grimes of the Forbidden Kingdom. Maybe not. Get the Reek and Ripper on here as well. Thursday night, we will have Hill Shit Podcast, the original. You like it, you love it. You need some more of it. And as well, don't forget the merch.
The merch
is
beautiful.
We have Retro Draven Grimes. We have Retro Dark Cordz. We have Forbidden Kingdom. We have Hill Shit Podcast. We have it all at next to no cost to us. Go pick that shit up. By the way, have you worked on my hoodie yet? I got a new hoodie design.
No, you gotta remind me tomorrow morning when I'm at this computer.
All right. So look out for a new Black Sheep Forbidden Kingdom hybrid hoodie coming out. Gonna be a good seller. Also, don't forget the Fuck Logan Paul t-shirts. Don't forget the Talkin shit. Sometimes it hurts that damn good. And with that, oh fuck, we didn't do our sponsors tonight.
Yeah, I cut them into it.
All right. I need to order more Havoc. I'm about out again.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that's gonna about do it for tonight. We want to thank Wick TV for joining us.
Yes. Sir.
So for Draven Grimes, I'm Dark Cordz. This has been Heel Shit. Why do we call it that? It's bad guys do heel shit. Peace.
Heel Shit Podcast, where the bad boys reign, never following the norm. Always